The Palomino Midge is a relatively easy to tie pattern that I've had lots of success with here in New Jersey during the late fall and early winter. Absolutely substitute materials wherever you see fit. For a hook, I'm going to use a Dai-Riki number 125 in size 20, but go smaller if you like. Begin by getting the hook firmly secured in the jaws of your tying vise. For thread, I've loaded a bobbin with a spool of black UTC 70 Denier. Get your thread started on the hook shank, leaving an eye-length space behind the eye, and take a few wraps rearward before snipping or breaking off the tag. Continue taking wraps until your thread hangs at about the hook point. Micro-sized ultra chenille is used for the abdomen of the fly. Use whatever color you have confidence in. I personally prefer olive, black, and red. Here, I'm going with red. Use a lighter or match to singe one end of the chenille into a natural-looking little taper. With the taper pointing rearward, measure to form an abdomen a full hook in length, then transfer that measurement rearward to the tie-in location. Secure the chenille to the top of the hook shank with a few tight wraps of tying thread. Lift the material up and take a couple wraps around just the hook shank, followed by a few more around the material. You can then reach in with your tying scissors and snip the excess off at a shallow angle. Even with firm thread wraps, the material will want to rotate around the hook shank, but do your best to secure it right on top. Once again, end with your tying thread at the hook point. For the Wingcase and emergent wing, you can use a variety of materials, but I like spooled Antron yarn. Here, I'm going to use a color called Gray Dun. Cut a 10-inch length free from the spool. This will be enough to make numerous flies. Then, snip one end off square. Give your bobbin a counterclockwise spin to uncord the thread, then place the snipped off end of Antron on top of the hook shank. Take a couple of thread wraps to secure it before pulling rearward to make sure the butt ends don't block the hook eye. Use wraps of tying thread to help taper the Antron down to the hook shank, then return your thread back to where the Wingcase meets the abdomen. It's okay to use dubbing for the thorax of the fly, but I prefer a single strand of Peacock herl. With the iridescent flues pointing down, snip the butt end of the herl off square to get rid of any misaligned flues. Maintain the herl's orientation and lay the butt end against the near side of the hook at an angle and take thread wraps to secure it. Bind the herl to the shank all the way up to just behind the hook eye. Get hold of the herl and start making touching wraps with it. Ideally, the iridescent flues should fan outward, like so. Keep taking wraps all the way up to your tying thread, then use it to secure the herl. After 3 or 4 wraps, take a single wrap around just the hook shank, then snip or break the excess herl off close. I like to give the top flues of Peacock a little trim so they won't poke through the Wingcase. Pull the Antron forward out over the hook eye, and while maintaining tension with the fingertips of your right hand, which incidentally might benefit from a little moisturizer, take wraps of tying thread to secure the Antron. Then, pull the Antron rearward and take several wraps around just the hook shank behind the eye to prop it up like an emergent wing. Complete a 4 or 5 turn whip finish to further prop the material up, seat the knot well, and snip or cut your tying thread free. Now, pull the Antron back and snip at the length so it extends to about halfway down the chenille abdomen. Plunger-style hackle pliers work great for storing the excess Antron yarn for later use. And that's all there is to tying the Palomino Midge. It's an excellent pattern to ease yourself into tying really small flies, and it works like a charm.